I don't think they really watch me on streams, so no shoutouts for them. But anyways, case, I hope everyone's doing well. We will go ahead and jump into some of these. So today I have both a deck for the standard format and the usable format set up. And I think the standard deck will be at least a little interesting to see before it has some cards rotating out. Now, certain cards are still going to be in which means that it's still playable. You'll notice that there's some cards that are very satisfying. Well, first jump into our explore deck. For the explore format, I have what here I dub the Forsaken Forge. It's called that because it is a deck focused around the Forsaken Monument, because we are mostly colorless cards, so it gives all our colorless creatures +2/+2. Some of our colorless spells have for extra mana, whenever we cast colorless spells from cards. We also run Mystic Forge, so we may look at the top card of our library at a time, we may cast artifacts and colorless spells from cards from our library, and we may tap things to exile top card of our library. This is pretty good because that means we can push cards out of the way if we've already played our land or we run up into the land and just try to push and keep doing some more colorless spells. Now, to really capitalize on this, we are pairing this with this is the 6 cost movement, so all of our colorless spells cost 2 less to cast. This means that none of our spells can be either free or at least cost very little to play off the top. So, like our automated artificers, as these items, all become free off the top with Mystic Forge moving home. But it does also mean that we can like play Circuit Mender, Palladium Mirror as just one cost. And we're running these cards, Palladium Mirror in particular, just because it's great to help ramp us into playing these overly costly cards. Same with the purpose of automated artificer, but we're running Circuit Mender to give us a little bit of sustained card draw value, but also becomes a decent sized body with the Forsaken Forge. To act as a ultimate weapon, we do also have Movement with Spirit Dragon, which, if you're not familiar with, its primary use is a custom board that plays X. You exile each permanent mana value The other thing that's so impressive about this is it is a +2 and it gets to deal 3 damage to any target. So even if the opponent doesn't have any like creatures or planeswalkers that we want to do 3 damage to, we can just go straight to the face. The other thing to note about Ugin Ineffable, besides playing this for its passive, it's great also because it's +1, so allows us to take the top card, to the body. So if we can't play the card on the top of our combo before, we can always just put it straight to the board and just dig around, but also just getting the body when it leaves the battlefield. We take the card that we have drawn and add it back to the hand. We also have the added benefit that has a -3 versus right board is available colors, so it serves as a rule tool for almost all of those cards. I say almost all because it's a cap combo, it doesn't really work. We do have Black Smash on that just for the purpose of protection of scriptures, because this allows us to put a +1/+1 counter on one of our creatures and artifacts to more types. Phase 2, we destroy all the non-artifact creatures. Stage 3, we get to exile all the graveyards. This is particularly good because not only is it board wipe, but this also exiles graveyards. So if we're against like your hand leader deck, we get rid of the graveyards and we don't have to worry about them anymore. The only drawback to this card is a little slow to get all of its faces off, because it doesn't immediately board wipe. But it is nice because it is, again, another card that just one-side board wipes for us. So that's why we're trying it in here. To take advantage of our primarily colorless mana sources, we are going with some Aether Hubs for the source of adding some black mana for our scriptures, as well as some swamps. But otherwise, everything else is meant to just be mana that can be used for utility. We run the beacons in here because we do run a fair number of planeswalkers and gives us a little sustain. And one of the reasons why we run Ugin and both versions of Ugin is, as I said earlier, just great payoffs. We run the one-of card because it allows us to get any artifact from our side deck, and we have a variety of options in here to give us some payoffs. We actually do a one-of Golos in the side deck because we can use that to get ourselves the Cascading Cataracts and be able to activate Golos and just be able to play cards off the top of our deck. It's a fun little combo. But we also have our backup of 1 extra Monument and Mystic Forge, so that way we basically have extra ways to potentially find it or harm to it. So that's another great reason for Karn. The other reasons for Karn is because it allows us to get Sentinel Totem to be able to just deal with graveyards, Spyglass to shut off Planeswalkers or other particular cards, Celestis in case we do need to get a black source that we might be missing for the purpose of the scriptures. Not to mention, it's great for the looting ability. And we have a Godfather statue because this has shown time before where it just taxes people too much that they can no longer play. That's great for the best of 1 scenarios. Now for the best of 3, if you want to try and go that far, we have some extra copies of Graveyard Hate, another Spyglass, Crucible of the Worlds in case you come across a land destruction, some Biblical Masteries to actually bring into the side from the side of the main board in case you're dealing with Planeswalker focus decks. Mirrored Construct because this is actually a decent card to pull out with Karn sometimes. Immortal Sun in case we are against a pure Super Friends deck, it just can shut them off. It will shut us off of our Planeswalkers, but we do have creatures in our deck to still serve as ways to win, so it's not a bad option for us. And last but not least, we have a Meteor Golem because it can just destroy anything. Alright, well, I hope that serves as a, nice idea of how the deck runs, and we'll jump in the games and show how it works. Alright. This is actually meant for the Explore format. I actually had some historic ones where we're trying the Kicker deck. I might run a couple more games on the Kicker deck as well today, just because we didn't really get to play that many of them last night. Oh yeah, this is Unfortunately, this hand doesn't really do a whole lot quickly, but I think we'll go ahead and give it a try. The Void's great in the deck because we get a Scry. Okay, that's great. That's some ramp, so we can actually potentially play these constructs out on turn 3. These have the ability that, like, it's a downside that they get targeted, that will be forced to sacrifice them and wait a whole bunch of 1/1s, but at the same time that can be a benefit. So turn 1 Thoughtseize from our opponent does mean that we'll possibly lose Circuit Mender, possibly a Construct, but they said that they don't like the Mender. Go for our Artificer. So I'm pretty sure we're against the black, blue, white, green deck. We'll attempt to get a construct to the board right away. Yep, it is definitely Greasefang. There's a Parhelion. Do they have Greasefang? Because if they do, there's nothing we can do. Yep. Congratulations, opponent. You are playing the deck that, in a best-of-1 scenario, has the highest win rate because of that scenario. If you get the combo to that degree, you have combo hands, most likely. I think I might just have to this scripture here, but we'll see how well it works. Just land pass. Alright, we'll go for the interplanetary beacon and pass it back. So is this the black white ring going to the green thing here? Just go Greasefang, Greasefang. Another scripture's not exactly what we're looking for. But it's not terrible for us if we do face against Greasefang with this, if we can get another black source. Because we get to exile the graveyard as well as blow up the board. Alright, well, opponent will give us that black source. Alright, we don't need any more black men at this point. Let's go for our mirror. I could have gone for a decent sized stone coil there, but I felt that going for the mirror is a strong play for us in the event that we draw one of our high cost cards. Hello there, Izzy. How things going? There's some fun. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go for the forge. This will allow us to play off the top of the deck. I said play off the top of the deck. Oh my gosh. Double land? Alright. We're going to bring Stone Coil to the board. I know it's not as large as we could have done it, but I fear it's better for us to try to put it on the board because, yeah, Fatal Push. Opponent was just waiting for it. My music loud. Oh no. Thank you for the heads up on that. I looked at the scales and it looked like it should have been quieter. How's it now? Did I over-adjust, or is that good? Well, thank you very much for the heads up. Let's see. Go for double black. Push that out of the way. Oh, geez, we keep hitting the lands. Well, we have the city's blessing, so I guess we can just draw it out of the way. Haven't seen anything play to the board from our opponent, so they might be trying to play around our scriptures. Thank you very much, AZ, again, for making sure to make me aware of that. Alright. Opponent seems to be just passing it back. Play off the top? Ooh, there we go. That's what we were looking for. Opponent, though, unfortunately seems like they have something to do to us the moment that we do play this. Well, let's go ahead and put it on the board. Go for the plus right away, because I'm betting they're just itching to just get rid of it, right? Nope. Nothing yet. Get the land out of the way. Play the mirror from hand, and it'll be the opponent's turn again. I imagine our opponent is going to have a sweeper against us. One deck I've wanted to make for ages is mirror artifacts when Phyrexian Scriptures and Convenient Console are the main. Oh, no, I understand how that works, because you can make the demon artifacts, and he also helps protect all of your artifacts. That's actually a pretty cool combo. Alright, so opponent seems to be a Siege Rhino deck. We'll go ahead and go for the Scriptures. Put the counter here. I continue to go for the plus. There we go. And we'll kick this. Play the land. And at this point, we'll pass it back. We're forcing the opponent to use their sweeper now, if they have it. Because, okay, if they don't have it, this means that we just get a one-sided board wipe against them. We don't need another land. We'll push that off to the side. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. It can be an issue because of the speed of the deck. I can try to see what we can do to maybe make that work. Oh, and here we go. So we get the one-sided board wipe. And then we'll bring down the monument. And we should just be able to just beat our opponent with a massive board here. Unfortunately for our opponent, they seem to have just drawn a lot of lands and not really in the action. Yeah, and I can't remember how Kadim's worded, but if you were to turn Kadim into an artifact, it might protect itself. If I remember correctly, Kadim says like all your artifacts have like hexproof or something. So it could be a fun idea. We can take a look at trying to see about maybe doing something like that. I'll make a note to do that right as soon as we maybe kill the opponent right here. one fun thing with the scriptures that we have is that we're running Karn's Bastion, so we can actually proliferate onto it to get rid of their graveyard right away. So if they actually do some kind of recursion for the Siege Rhino, we can actually take away the Siege Rhino. Oh, we didn't need the Salt Scoop. We didn't even bring down this Ugin. I'm still a little surprised that the opponent used a Destroy spell on the Circuit Mender, because for some reason they used Assassin's Trophy on it. And I guess that little 2/3 was just a little too scary, and, well, we end up putting this one away. Alright, let me make that note for trying to do a Redeem Artifacts. There we go. Got a note on that. Because let me take a look, just so I can remind myself how all those cards work. I don't have the copies of Padine probably. Explorer. Yeah, I only have a copy of Padine. If you're gonna make a deck around him, you're gonna want at least 3 copies, probably. Especially if you're gonna go for that combo. I mean, you really could just do Padim as a 2-of in a deck, and just have him as a backup, like, positive engine. The only problem with trying to do what you're saying, though, is the fact that it's like, it might be too slow because you can just kill people really fast because of cards like Black Sapphire Waterdeep, but I'm actually forgetting what the enchantment's called. Oh, is that not? That's historic, isn't it? No? Here it is, Ensoul Artifact. Ensoul Artifact, I think, can be played in Explorer. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just gonna craft one of these right now just to remind myself where it is in my collection. Because Ensoul Artifact is just a very powerful card. The Tez's Touch is a good card. But the thing is, it's just a mana slower. But you could do both, yeah. Because whenever enchanted artifacts put into a graveyard, you get to return the artifact back to hand. Now, the reason why this card isn't as good as Ensoul Artifact is because... Why didn't that search for it? Because it's supposed to look for keywords, right? Yeah, that kind of pulled it up. I wonder, I must have typed something wrong. The reason why Tez's Touch is worse is because usually if you Ensoul something, you don't care about getting that artifact back most of the time. In fact, you're usually Ensouling onto something that has indestructible or some type of evasion to it. So it's hard for them to destroy it anyways. But it just allows you to double down on the effects. So it's a good card. So black-blue artifacts could be good. But like you said, Padim just might be too slow because of the fact that you're running these cards. I'll just jump back into another game. I'll see about trying to come up with a build that actually makes use of Padine specifically, not just be an install artifact deck. But I'll need to take some time to research it. Alright, on to the next hand. Unfortunately, this is too slow. If we had a ramp card in here, I'd possibly keep this, but... well, that, that dwarf deck that you have is kind of interesting, so I hope it's going well for you there. I will keep this one. I'm gonna put the scriptures on the bottom. Lead with the void. Gonna put the monument on the bottom. Wait, were any of your cards not legal for Explode? Alright, I'm going to attempt to put a Stone Coil on the board, X3. Alright, get the counterspell out of the opponent's hand. That's why I went for it right now, it's just so I can force the counterspells. Mirror Breaker for our opponent. Go for the Great Creator. Go for a minus. Try to figure out what kind of deck our opponent is to know if I want to go for specific cards. I think we'll go for... Go for the Forge. Oh, that's right. You had Strike It Rich in the deck. I forgot that was in there. So at least that's only one card you had to switch out. Okay, so our opponent is... I know exactly what the opponent's deck is. The moment I see Agent of Treachery go to the graveyard, they're all about tricking Agent of Treachery in straight from their deck. So this is going to be potentially really bad for us. Alright. Go for 2 of these Artificers. Go for +1. We submit 0. Oh, I should have plussed onto their treasure. I just remember that I can do that. I missed out. Because I could have gotten rid of the treasure. While Karn's on the board, the treasure can't be activated. But the moment they kill Karn, they can start using them. Yep, so here's the creativity deck. We're just going to go ahead and, well, do we scoop? If we hit a land, I'm trying to think like what we can do. Okay, they take those. Unfortunately, means that we can't use our Artificer for mana. Okay, thank you, opponent. You destroyed that for us. Alright, we're going to put this in play because passively we can still play off the top of our deck. And here I was thinking we might end up needing to be the one to scoop. How did that happen? They have the combo of Kiki Jiki and Treachery. Why did they scoop? I guess they're being generous. I'm not sure how we won that. Because every single thing about that board state says actually we were losing. So I don't know. We'll take it. We'll take it. Because when they make a copy of Agent Treachery with Kiki Jiki, they can take any permanent. So they can just take our lands. So I don't know how we scared them off there. Hey there, Lady Perdabo. Well, welcome to the chat. Are you some way relation with the other Perdabo that shows up? Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the stream. Oh, wife. Well, I hope you're enjoying yourself. Let's see, what was I just, let's see one question. If you can make an anthology, what would you make? I don't know how to answer that in all honesty, Izzy. For the card anthology stuff, they do some really random stuff. Well, it's nice to hear that you both share the hobby. On the open, I'm going to be reading Keep This. I don't know if we'll be able to get the payoff to work out, but let's go ahead and lead off with Field of Ruin. We may just be a turn slow. We also may have to deal with the fact that our opponent just straight up destroys our Palladium Mirror. If they don't destroy the Palladium Mirror, I'm going to try to jam straight into the Monument. Sure, let's see what you try to make, Izzy. Because I'm honestly not sure. I'd have to look at the other anthologies just to get a reference for how they did them before to think about how I'd want to do them myself. Alright. So this could just be the black-red sacrifice style deck that we're dealing with. Yep. Claim the Firstborn, which means it's going to get sacrificed to one of two cards. There's Deadly Dispute. There are 25 Guild Mages, not an Arena. That would be silly. Alright, let's go ahead and put this on the board, because if the opponent targets us with a spell, we'll get ourselves a bunch of 1/1s, so it'll buy us some time. Unfortunately, we are against Cat combo, and there's a Mayhem Devil. If we get one more mana for this Forge, or for this Monument, we may be able to stabilize. That is a big nay. Yep. Double Cat for the combo. Let's see, how much damage can the opponent do to us? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's just a GG. Opponent just got quite the crazy hand there. We could not do anything to really respond to that. And I honestly hate, like, I've done Claim the Firstborn with a bunch of Deadly Disputes, Village Rites, and I cannot draw that combo, and it infuriates me to no end. Like, if I ever draw the Claim the Firstborns, I'll never draw a Sacrifice Outlet. Spice up historic and explore a decent bit. Make more multicolored decks, but think so less modified existence. Well, when we talk about going into the older formats, mono white isn't that much of a thing. That's only really more newer formats. Mono white is a thing in the older formats, but not nearly as much as like mono red or mono black. Alright, I see a potential line here. We'll go ahead and give this hand a try. I mean, mono white is strong, but it's one of those things. It has a I'm trying to think how to say this. Mono white's definitely strong, and you'll definitely see it. But when it comes to mono colors in the older format, mono red tends to usually be the more dominant color for being seen, in my opinion. Alright, so black, red, green from our opponent. They deal with the Ugin right away. I wonder if we're dealing with another opponent who's just going to steal our stuff and sacrifice it. Let's see, if we get this onto the board and manage to get Palladium in the air. Nope. So much for that idea. I was thinking maybe we might be able to kick the construct. Alright, there's literally only 2 scriptures in the deck, and we have drawn both of them. That's bad luck. Alright, Blood-Tithe Harvester for our opponent. Alright, there's a little bit of good luck. I'm going to hold on to the construct for now. One seems to be having trouble with their mana, so I figure doing a Field of Ruin, hit their land. Not a terrible plan here. Then we can go for the scriptures. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Because I don't know if they actually require 3 colors for their deck, or if they just might have it in there for cycling. Well, the thing is, it's, Mono Red does have a lot of haste, but they also have a lot of cards that benefit off of, chaining spells, and they have all that direct damage. Mono White, depending on which variation you're dealing with, is much harder to deal with because of... I'm trying to think how to say it. The simple fact that they have small bodies that just get large as they go in quickly. Now, I think Mono Red actually does a good job fighting against it if you're doing Mono Red Burn, because you can basically play yourself like a control deck, keep them off the board, and then still be aggressive. And when you have something like a Soulscar Mage, you can also make sure that their creatures like permanently shrink with your burn. Alright, we got some advantage from the construct there, because normally our creature would just die from that, but because of the nature that we have to sacrifice this whenever it comes started by spell, we get a whole bunch of these little bodies out of it. We'll just take the 3, as we're going to go for a scriptures here. We're going to take another 3 from the Harvester, but we're not going to have to deal with it on the board anymore. Fatal Push from our opponent, because our 1/1 tokens are just so scary. How they hold it back. They don't realize that their creature's going to die. Oh, opponent. Should have gone in for that free hit. Alright, we have the ability to kick it, but the funny thing is, if we kick it, we don't actually get any benefit, because the opponent's only got 2 basic lands in play. By turn 5, mono white hands a great board state. You could play a card in game. Yeah, that's mono white angels, which splashes green just for Coco, and you've probably heard me rant about how much I hate Coco. Although it was great getting some play against that. I was wondering when they were going to sacrifice that just to redraw, to dig for land. So opponent probably has another targeted spell that they can fire off at the construct. It'll still make us do a lot of damage. If we could top deck our artifact that gives all of our closed things +1, +2, +2. If they target our construct, it'd be lethal swing here. And if they have targeted removal that's instant speed, they should wait until it gets to our turn. So that way we don't get the ability to strike in with it. Right, there goes the opponent's graveyard. We'll just move the combat, go for the strike. We will also go for a Scriptures. Put a counter here. Pass it back. I put the counter on the 2/2 in case the opponent did have instant speed interaction with our construct. So that way they can do that and meat hook our whole board. Yep, and there we go. Unfortunately, the opponent just stuck on mana. Yeah, their deck is a whole lot of 3-drops. Like, they have the, as you might saw, they discarded the werewolf that each graveyards, but they also had the bone crushers and things like that. You want to build in a few days Orzhov Clerics with a new Cleric Lord and Valkyrie. Well, the problem with Clerics is, unfortunately, a lot of the important ones are rotating out. And they did get the new little Lord, which seems really cool to play with. But with that, the backbone of all the Clerics rotating, it's going to be hard to really make use of it. On the open, we actually have a lot of early interaction type cards, so we'll keep this. Oh, Explore? Yeah, that could actually probably work pretty well in Explore. So I tend to think standard first, then the other formats. Oh look, it's the Angel deck. We're gonna see a Coco in this deck. And we already know my opinions on that. Let's see. We do have the ability to go Palladium Mirror, and then go to Ugin. Yep, there's Righteous Valkyrie. Breaking the game ever since he first arrived. Alright, if we could actually get our Scriptures, we might be able to survive. Let's see, plan on playing Stone Coil next turn, give us a huge blocker. Alright, opponent doesn't hit the... Why didn't they play that on green? They already had double white. I'm a little surprised by that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. Stone Cold to the board. I wanted to get the huge body first. Because I knew that they're going to gain a stupid amount of life. If I destroyed one of these with Ugin, I could have denied them that flyer there. Ooh, there's scriptures. Question is, are we dead? If I go for the scriptures. So, let's see here. If I go for scriptures, it's going to cost 4 mana, and I'll have 3 mana left over. If I go for Ugin, it'll take all but 1, 2 mana. Then I can go for the Forge. Potentially play it off the top of the deck. If I go for Ugin, what do I destroy? So it has to be Righteous Valkyrie. Because let's see, if I hold this as a blocker, that's 10. So they're at least getting 14 through. So yeah, I have to go for Ugin. Get this off the board. Go for the Forge. Play for free. Oh, if we survive, this just clears the board, and we will be in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have the mana even if they take away the Ugin. If they take away Ugin... Oh, wait. Is that death? That's not death. Okay, we're still in this. We're still good. We're still good. Because that's 8, 9... Oh, no! They took away Ugin. Yeah, so they were 2 damage short from being able to actually provide lethal. Oh, wait. I gotta put the land down first. So, highest cost is 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, we get a 0/0 back, so it immediately dies. And it'll be the opponent's turn. Okay, I'm not afraid of that. Because I just -3 again, so that way they can't book combo us. One, two, three. Go for another Palladium Mirror. Attack with these. It'll be the opponent's turn. I probably was baited into exiling that, because they didn't have the mana to do that. Yeah, I got baited. Oh, Karn. So we can play Karn. So we can play this, that'll give it enough life to survive. Well, we'll grab a Forsaken Monument. Plus to the face. 1, 2, 3. Actually. Yes. Monument. Play this. Move that off the top. Oh, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can do actually 9. Nope. I guess we can do 8. I think I did the math wrong. Why am I doing the math wrong? 3. Oh, I don't have the wrong Ugin in play. So 3, 6, 7. There we go. Alright, and we recover. Yeah, there's Coco. So, yeah, I think the opponent accidentally punished themselves by putting that on white. Alright. Opponent can't push in to kill Ugin. I just -3 the Ugin, take away their whole board. They should have probably just waited on the Coco. Because if they just Coco'd during our turn, at the end, they could have maybe surprised lethal at us, but no, we got there. So that's actually one of the cool things about this deck is that we can just play off the top, and once we generate all of our extra mana, we gain life also from playing all of our colorless spells. Now, it did require us having to play 8-cost Ugin to upset the board to win that one, but it was something we had struggled a little bit to do. Alright, we'll see you back in a little bit then, Izzy. Let's see. I mean, this seems like a keep. We got double Mir and Ugin. 6-cost Ugin with Forge seems really, really fun. Now, there is a version of this deck I could also try to build and play, which is, sometimes people refer to it as, like, Eggs Ugin. And if you're not sure what that means, it means that we end up playing a whole bunch of artifacts that end up costing 0. But with Ugin's ability, we can make all the 2-cost cards that, like, enter battlefield, draws those cards, be free. You know, I'll keep the Circuit Bender. And the goal of that version of the deck is you actually win with a artifact that whenever you cast a spell, you gain a life for each spell you've played that turn. And it's just a trigger that happens every single time you cast a spell. Alright, looks like we're against Naya humans. Go for the mirror. There's Brutal Cathal. This is basically a standard deck we're playing against so far. And it's one of the reasons why this is just so strong is because of just how impressive these cards really work together. But yeah, there's nothing we can really do here. I mean, we can bring out the Circuit Mender, gain a little bit of life by another turn. Let's see. It will stop them from attacking with Cathar unless they bring out something else, but yeah, this is why this is a Explore deck, is because Coco. What the heck are... they're just all the werewolf. Alright, that's interesting. If you're wondering why they're playing this card, it's probably because they can play it off of Courtyard here, as they said that they labeled werewolf. I'll give them this. It's an interesting build. Never played against it, but sadly we just... too slow of a hand to play against them. Collected Company. Ruins fun times. Whenever it can. Alrighty. This is greedy, but I'm going to keep it. We have the cards that we want to get to. The question is there a way for us to draw something that will allow us to survive to get to it? Since we have the play, we have a better chance to survive. Alright, we'll keep the Circuit Mender. It's a little slow, but it has a little life gain and draw tied to it, so it might work out. I don't like seeing white-blue. It means counter spells are heavy. Are we against counterspell.deck? I really hope it's not counterspell.deck. bring out the Ether Hub. We'll attempt to combat. I absolutely hate counterspell decks. They're boring. Because here comes a counterspell. No? Interesting. I honestly thought Mystic Forge would get a counterspell. Like 100%. Ah, that's why. They're gonna march it. I'll leave the land on top. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can play counterspell deck. You can do the blue fairy idea. You can also do the blue-green werewolf flash deck. And then there's this annoyance where it runs... It's exile.deck and all counterspells. And it runs the Fun Police. If you're not sure what I mean by the Fun Police, it would be Teferi. Alright, we'll draw a card. Ooh, Karn's nice. Now, let's see. I doubt the opponent's going to let me resolve the Karn, but... let's go and try to resolve it, because we can still draw with the Maze Mind Tome. They're going to commit it. Okay. Oh, I know what the opponent's... Here comes a Narset, right? No, they can't play Narset right now, because they can't hold up the counterspell magic, right? Oh, we gotta throw another Karn at them. Surprised they're letting things resolve. God Pharaoh statue? Okay, Circuit Vendor getting exiled, giving us card draw. Why is it that Circuit Vendor's getting hit by all this removal? What did the Circuit Vendor do to people that it's like getting so much hate? I mean, it is doing 2 damage a turn, but... Alright, opponent's going to shuffle things back. That's fine. Because they're tapped out, so we can play whatever we want. Grab the monument. Play said monument. Play the forge. And that's enough to send them packing. I guess we played against a control deck that didn't draw its counterspells. Gotta be happy about that. Normally I can predict like what they're gonna play, but that person just didn't really play anything. You know, it's actually kind of funny. That set there that I just pulled, I have so many of the cards from that set that if I try to open packs, most of the time I get gems back. But I'm actually missing cards from it. So, like... Crimson Vow. If I were to just show you all the rares, like what I'm missing from it, you'll see that it's like I have at least one copy of each thing except for the Gatekeeper, and I've ended up getting like some free packs as a reward for something, and I just got gems because I can't get the last copies of cards. I thought that they would force you to get like the other copies of things you're missing before they would give you gems, but no, I got gems instead of getting my Gatekeeper, getting like my last copy of a Caretaker here. It's kind of crazy. And those I know are mythics, but it's like I'm missing copies of cards. It's like I thought I would have. It wouldn't give me gems back. It would like finish off my things. All right, we'll do one last game of this deck, and we'll switch over to another one. All right, so we have a little ramp. The only problem with this is it doesn't actually ramp into these, but we'll still try this hand. Nice thing about this is we do have the double Aether Hub, so if we do end up with our Sweeper, it actually can still be played. That is something we can ramp into, so that's a good draw. No, I'd rather not, in all honesty. I imagine it's a good deck. Oh, they thought us. That's annoying. So what do they fear? Do they fear the Construct, or do they fear the Karn? They fear the Construct. Interesting. And we'll just top deck another one. That was nice. I mean, yeah, we can take a look at the deck list. Like I mentioned, I don't like necessarily just running a counterspell heavy deck. Because if I'm on the other side of it, I absolutely hate it. So I don't try to put people through something like that. Alright, more Thought Seizes. Unfortunately, there goes Karn. Alright, we get the Forge. So we can play things off the top of the deck. Our opponent seems to be mill control, so having options to be able to play cards off the top may be useful. Alright, nothing really lost there. Alright, I'm gonna actually push the top card. I can't play it because it's not an artifact. Now, granted, it'd probably get hit by a counterspell like Drown in the Lock or something, but... Alright, looks like our opponent might be finally trying to deal with our Construct. Problem is, if they use any targeted removal on it, whether it be Bounce or Destroy, it just goes back to our hand. They go for Exile removal. It would have to be the one that can choose Odd Even, and they do have the mana for it. Alright, funny thing about this, the opponent knew that they shouldn't put any X into this. If they tried to actually done like the X greater than 0 there. Oh, Tasha's Hideous Laughter doesn't mill us a whole lot because we are just so many expensive cards. Alright, there goes Rune Crab, getting some more cards out of the deck. Alright, play off the top, and we just send the damage. We're just doing the small beat win. Hey there, Risha, how things going? Hope you're doing well. Alright, so we are representing lethal against this opponent on the board, and also with Ugin potentially coming down as well. And there we go. We beat a black-blue mill deck. Doing pretty well on that end. Like, Tasha's Hideous Laughter is a very strong card, but funny enough, against our deck, it's like one of the lesser, like, mill cards, potentially, because cards like Ugin, like, we run a lot of these really expensive spells. so it's not going to mill necessarily a whole lot. All right, so for those of us just joining, just go ahead and go over the deck we were just playing here because I'm going to switch it up. But in case you were interested, this was the deck idea of Forsaken Forge. When's the new deck coming? The set is on the 7th, if I remember. No, the 9th. I think it might come out 7th for Arena, but I think it's 9th is the pre-release or something. Let me double check. So yeah, so September 2nd is actually the pre-release date for the set. So the set will actually be available for standard play on the 9th. Because they like to do it on Fridays. So that means that if you're looking forward to some gameplay of the set, I will probably be seeing some of that on Friday, from when you can see it at the earliest. But that's only going to be for doing sealed, and then the week after this Friday is when it'll be released live. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm currently only at 18 on my gold right now. So, I mean, I'm only going to be able to afford a little bit of it. But I'm going to be trying to start off doing a lot of the sealed events, just so that way I can get a buildup of the cards as quickly as I can. Because if you actually are participating, just a reminder, like if you're looking to actually unlock the cards, participating in drafts, not these make sure it's not these ones where, as you can see, it says Phantom. Make sure you avoid these ones. But if you're looking to unlock cards, participating in drafts are great. And if you can't see it on these events, you can always go over here, go to events, and you can go find, like, if you're looking for, see, where's the draft right now? Yeah, so like traditional alchemy draft, you can do that, or the quick draft for Baldur's Gate. And as you can see, you get to keep these cards, and as you play, you get to unlock packs and win back your gems, or win back gold as gems to be able to just keep buying back in. Phantom drafts are one of those things. It's you have to win to be able to get your resources back for participating in them, but they can be fun just because it's a card style event that you can't play normally. So I understand why people like participating in them, but I understand where it's like, yeah, you can't keep the cards, but they also do go with the idea that some of those events that it's like all the cards are pretty much rare, so they can't just give you all that without hurting their own economy, without charging something obtusely expensive to participate. Well, the thing is, it's if you look at it this way, you're paying 5,000 gold to at least get yourself 3 packs. Even if you completely bust, you get yourself another 50 gems and 1 pack. So you're effectively going to make it that way. Yeah, you lose out on 1,000 gold. But if you do win, let's see, how much is the break-even point? Like the true break-even point. Well, this one's actually not a really good event because normally the break-even point is around 4 wins, and this one's got an awkward nature to it. Let's see, where's the traditional alchemy event? Nope, that's just regular alchemy. Where's the regular draft? Traditional draft. Here it is. Nope, this is not the one I was looking for either. Now this one is a little harsher on you because you have you have it's a one and done if you lose you're out. So let's see if it's 1,500 gems. Wait, 2 play-in points. What are play-in points? Enter qualifier playing events. Oh, I should probably try to do these more often then. But it's a matter of if you look at the cost of how much it costs to like buy a pack, look at the gem cost. So it's only 200 gems to buy a pack. So if you participate in an event, see, I had the math done before, but forgetting what it was off the top of my head. Because this one's a little worse on the price than I remembered them being. Because I could have swore you got yourself more of a payoff. But in which case, so we know it's 200 gems for a pack. So participating and losing, you get a pack and 50 gems. That means you almost get paid back the exact amount that you lost, like paid in. So that means getting one win is effectively like buying 4 packs, right? 750, 750. But you get rewarded back 100. No, I need to do the math better. Let me find my calculator. That is the calendar, not the calculator. There it is. Oh, that's right. Izzy, did you manage to post that? You did post it. Sorry, one sec. Let me actually. We'll take a look at that in just one second. I just want to try to do some quick math to make sure I'm doing this right. So let's see. When it comes to the event here, so it costs 750 to buy in. So that means get yourself 4 packs. Wait, doesn't that mean that you're already at an advantage? Yeah, because if it's 200 a pack, that means you're already breaking even just by participating in the event. Just straight up goose egging. Yeah, you lost your gems and all, but you actually end out paying 700 gems for 4 booster packs when you normally have to pay 800 gems. So just participating, you're already at a better rate than not participating. So I hope that already gives you like a better feeling of go ahead and participate in the drafts. Now it does take time to participate in these, so it participate as you feel your how valuable your time is. But in any case, Izzy had a deck they'd like to share. We'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So this is Izzy's blue counterspell deck that's fairy focused. Now it runs Delver Secrets, obviously, because it's a lot of interaction of counterspells and disruption. And it's like one of the best 1-drops you can ask for, because it transforms into a 3/2 flyer if you happen to reveal a instant or sorcery on the top of your deck at the beginning of your upkeep. Now, it does run some of the best flyers that you can ask for out of blue. Hypnotic Sprite is actually a decent counterspell, and you can always play it still as a 2/1 flyer for 2 mana. So it makes for a good body. Fairy Duelist, I think, is your weakest card that I'm seeing here. Now, you're only having it as a 2-elf, just for some interaction and get a body, so I can understand that. I do like the fact that you're having some fun trying to run Stolen by the Fae. Curious Obsession is great for the deck. Search for Ascanta, okay. I'm not sure how important Ascanta is for this style of deck play. I do like the idea of Stern Dismissal over the normal bounce spell everyone's been going to, just because you have a little more variety for creature and enchantment. See, Essence Capture's great. Quench, you should upgrade. You should upgrade Quench, and what I mean by that is the counterspell that is in New Capenna with a casualty. It's the same thing, so and it's a common, so make disappear. Okay, I'll just bring it live over here real quick. It's the exact same cost of 2 mana to force your opponent to pay 2 for their spell. But the thing is that you have the option to be able to sacrifice something with 1 power to double up the spell and make them pay up to 4 mana. And allows you also to potentially play around your opponent using like a counterspell against your counterspell and things like that. So that's why I say it's like make disappear would just be better than the Quench. I mean, it's a common for a common, and you probably already have it, so I'm just saying it's like that'd just be a straight upgrade right there. You don't have to sacrifice. That's the thing. It's an option that you get. Like, it's especially when we're looking at the fact that you're running Fairy Duelist. Fairy Duelist, if you just have this on the board and you already have like something else more important that has like Curious Obsession on, and your opponent's going for like a Fatal Push, and you know you already have like 5 mana, well, your Quench isn't going to counterspell it. But if you happen to, I'm sorry, you have 4 mana, you could go with the idea that, all right, Quench isn't going to cut it, but the other spell will. I'm just simply saying, you may as well run the better card if you have it. Because if you read Quench and you read Make Disappear, they're the exact same card, except this one has an extra line of text that gives you more versatility. That's all. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, no, other than that, I think most of your deck is pretty tight on the build. Why is... There it is. Because Brazen Burrow is amazing. Fairy Vandal works great with the deck. Trying to think if there's anything that may be upgraded. I like the fact that you also split between 2 Thought Collapse and 2 Didn't Say Please, because it plays around your opponent doing a card allows them to pull out all copies from your deck. Stolen by the Fae is probably your weakest card here, just because it's in theme, so it's great. Yeah, no, Test of Talents is an example of one of the cards that allows them to steal all copies from your deck. There are a couple others, but they don't usually see play. Test of Talents is the one that makes the most play. But Stolen by the Fae's only issue is that it's expensive to use, because you have to pay the cost equal to the card that you're bouncing. And yeah, you get all the 1/1 flyers, but it's very slow moving, so it's a little awkward. I think the amount of lands you're running, considering the cost of your cards, does make sense, but this card is the only one that's a little... It's great for flavor, but based off of amount of lands and how your deck runs, might be the other card you might want to upgrade. And if you're going to go for something that's kind of similar to Effect, probably Swirling Mist. Oh no, I know your average cost is super low, and the fact that it's like 1, 2, 2, 2, both a 2 and a 3. All of these are 1s, a couple 2s, a couple 3s. It's a very low cost deck. That's why it's like this is the one card that's like a little awkward. But March of Swirling Mist, I think, would actually probably help your deck out a little bit more, because if you're trying to protect your creatures and you didn't have a counterspell and you had like Stolen by the Fae, it wouldn't be able to help protect your creature. But if you had Swirling Mist, you'd be able to protect your creature and still be able to blink out your opponent's cards. For maybe like they're trying to attack in, you can phase them all out, so that way you're no longer taking a hit, and also phase out their potential defenders against you. So that's why I was saying it's like that would be a card that would be good. March of Swirling Mist. But no, it's a fun little mono blue deck idea that you have there. It probably does pretty well. But yeah, no, I know your average CMC. Let's see. It says how many creatures, non-creatures, lands. Where's the? There it is. There's your CMCs. So the average is 1.8. Oh, I just realized my music stopped. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and go back into some games. Alright, so we just played ourselves some Forsaken Forge. We'll actually pick up now with going into the standard format. Well, Search for counts as only land if it manages to flip. Alright, and so with going into the standard format, we'll jump into this deck idea that I have dubbed the Eater of Skills, because we are running with the Eater of Virtue. The goal of this deck is we run a whole bunch of creatures that have different abilities, like First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, all those kind of keywords. We don't have a number of these. Some of these I've listed. Like we don't have Haste, and we don't have Double Strike in our build, but we do have Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Lifelink, and Menace. And so Eater of Virtue, if any creature it's attached with it dies, we exile it and imprints basically those keywords that creature had onto the card. And for a 1 cost to play, 1 cost to equip to get a creature +2/+0, that's already pretty decent even without the added bonus of giving our creatures a keyword. So I thought it was a really cool card to play around and built this deck idea. So to get our keywords, we have like cards like Valentine, Death of the Vein, so that way we can get Menace and Lifelink. We have Tainted Adversary for some Death Touch. It's also a great 2/3 body. We have First Strike from Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and it's great because it also taxes opponents on their non-creature spells. It taxes us too, but we don't actually have a whole lot that's in the deck that get taxed too heavily, so not much of an issue. We have Flying in the form of Elite Spellbinder. We have Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink from Nighthawk Scavenger. We have the Extraction Specialist to give us Lifelink and also bring back any of our 2-drops or 1-drops. And we do have the Wandering Emperor here for a form of control and temporary First Strike bonuses. But we all know what the Wandering Emperor just does. Now, Henrika Donati is in the deck if Eater of Virtue imprints her, it'll only ever give Flying, because it always reads the front side of the card. But this card is great with the deck idea because it turns into a 3/4 Flying Death Touch Lifelinker that allows us to pump all of our creatures that happen to have Flying, Death Touch, or Lifelink, which most of our creatures either have as a base or can get from Eater of Virtue. And we also run the Thunderous Orator in the deck because, like Eater of Virtue, it just gains the abilities of our creatures for having effects. And I think this will be a fun deck to try out, and we'll just jump into some games. There's a good place as a festival. From the start, a little bit of a slower hand than some of our other ones, but I think it's keepable. I think the adversary just is a very solid body, still for being aggressive, even though it's a 2-3 instead of like a 3-2, because it has death touch, so people don't want to block it. It's just a great wall, also. So we'll leave it the Sanctum first. Get ourselves the adversaries on board.
See, I think it's quite possible.
Depending on how our opponent taps for their turn, we may just go for Eater of Virtue and then equip. Alright, it's a tap land, so I'm going to go for the Spellbinder.
From now on, there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing.
Okay. Switch up the music. Alright, so opponent is a very strange deck. I think I'm going to tax. Tax here. Because that way they can't ninjutsu it to the board. And just straight playing it as a 3-drop where all their creatures have ninjutsu is dangerous. Because that means that if we don't ever block a creature, they could just bring this in for 4 mana. Okay. Let's go for the Scavenger. Go for our Eater of Virtue. And I'm only going to attack in with this, because we know the opponent has black-blue as their primary, that they could have a lot of cards that could, you know, make it so they can disrupt our blockers and get that through. You work again. Exile top card of their library until their turn. You may play those cards. Okay. Let's go for Henrika. And we'll say we both sacrifice a creature. We'll give up this. Because we can bring it back with the Extraction Specialist. And say no tax. Really gonna swing it in, alright. We'll trade. Go for our Specialist. Bring this back. And we will equip to here. Give them the thanks for the nice. We'll draw a card. And we will attack here. Making sure to leave 2 things back as blockers, because I see that they have the slip out the back. The fun thing is, they have to actually deal with all 3 of these in some way or another to be able to get that through. Let's bring out both the Orators. Get the transform here. Strangely enough, I'm going to actually just attack with the Specialist on the ground here, because I'm fine with trading this off. And they're not going to want to necessarily take it because of how much damage is coming through. Next turn, we actually have lethal. Because we can actually use the Infernal Seer here with all the Thunderous Orators, Nighthawk Scavenger, attack through and just be able to pump our way through, even if they block this. If they choose to take the hit, we'll shift the Eater of Virtue over here. This way, if this were to die, we'll be able to give Vigilance to any of our creatures. Alright, so they use Fading Hope to bounce that back. That means we know what both their cards are in hand. So it's whatever their top deck is, what they might be able to survive with. At the moment, we still have a lethal swing, but they can use this to save themselves. Alright, that's a little preemptive of them to maybe do that slip out there. But it does mean if they get another disruption, like a bounce or another slip out, they can attack in with the two of these, and then ninjutsu this in. Alright, we offer the blocks. Give them the GG. Because they're gonna scoop. Yep, there we go. That was then just checking to make sure we don't make a mistake and just let the attack through so that they can ninjutsu in their prize. I imagine their deck actually works because people don't expect something like that just to suddenly come from their hand. And since we got knowledge on what was in their hands, we were able to play around really well. Alright. A little slow for the fact that we don't have anything but our 3-drops, but we have the ability to answer things with Vanishing Verse, so it's key. Column B. Land the Bumster. Probably lead with Spellbinder. Now we can figure out what our opponent's working with. Looks like it's enchantments. That probably immediately told him we had Vanishing Verse. Ah, red, white, green enchantments. Let's tax that showdown. We don't have any spell that requires double walking, but I think what we do is we end up playing this on black, so that way we can go Scavenger and Thirst, maybe? Ah, there's no real reason to Thirst. I think I'll lead with Henrika here. Go for the card draw. We got the Virtue. Okay, well, we can get ourselves another card draw. Vanishing Verse. Combat. Draw card. Play a black source. Go for Nighthawk Scavenger. Now, we haven't actually put anything in their graveyard yet, because we've just only used Vanishing Verse, but They may just play this just for the card draw, but they, with how their deck works, they might have wanted to hold on to. Why did they play that for red? Alright. We're going to Blood Chief Thirst there. We do not like our opponent having that. Bring out the Virtue, and we'll go for a Scavenger. Get ourselves a lot of life back. And that's enough to send the opponent packing. The Flying Death Touch Lifelink squad. See, actually, how much damage were we representing in the air there? So, well, only the one card in their graveyard, which was Enchantment Creature. Both are vampires were 3 power. Henrika's got base 3 power, so that's 9. We can activate Henrika's pump ability once, which will give him all +1/+0, so that's another 3 more damage. And we can equip, so we can do 14 damage on the next attack. That actually represented quite a bit of damage there. Especially considering that's 14 points of flying lifelink damage. Alright, this one seems pretty good. A little awkward with the Thalia Wandering Emperor, but considering what colors I'm seeing for the opponent, I doubt Thalia gets to last more than a turn on board. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this on white, but we're going to just Blood Chiefs off the Ledger Shredder. Okay, another Ledger Shredder. Go for Thalia. But it might be white-blue spells, so Thalia could be a very big issue. And what I mean by spells, it's a whole bunch of, Homestead Courage style, Pump style. And since they can't protect that, let's just go ahead and Vanishing Verse here. Get ourselves another black source. So next turn we can go land, activate Eye Tyrant, get rid of that from their graveyard, and yeah, no, opponent just scoops it up. That's how much impact Thalia has on matches. Like, there's just some games it's a hard counter. And this is just a great example of it, especially considering they missed their 4th land. And they're a deck that usually doesn't care about getting more than 3 lands. It's only when there's a Thalia on board that they need that 4th. Vampire's Vengeance is still one of those sweepers that's actually pretty decent. The only problem is vampires are actually incidentally a thing in Standard sometimes. So it doesn't end up sweeping like you'd like it to. Alright, we seem to have another pretty good hand here. Like, this deck is actually really strong on the type of hands. Like, we haven't had too many hands where like looking, it's like, do I really want to keep this? Yeah, I want to keep this because we especially just drew Thalia. So we go land Thalia. This is enchantments. That actually interrupts a lot of their spells. Alright, Thalia to the board. Alright. Interrupts a lot, but not all. Go for the Scavenger. And opponent just keeps on coming with those circles of confinement. Let's go for white source here. Pass it back. Play needs to go for the Wandering Emperor. Oh, they have blue. I just realized they're 5 color. Go for the Tainted Adversary. We'll pay for the kick. +1. And swing. Circuit Mender, not much of an issue in all honesty. Go for Eater. Apply it here. Go for the plus here. Swing. We can block these with the Mender and manage to keep the body, but they're going to block for the damage. Or we just go Eye Tyrant here and pass. Fire up the Eye Tyrant. Yep, and that's enough to send them packing. I was going for the idea of just forcing the opponent. If they had an answer spell, they had to use it. Otherwise, that was just lethal on the board there. Because with them at 11, I put a plus counter here, swing out. The reason why I put it here is if we lose this, it's the least impactful to our board. Like losing the Eye Tyrant, more impactful to us. But, yeah, there we go. Now, the opponent that we played against was probably playing like 5-color enchantments, where they rely on Okagachi. And Okagachi enters battlefield, it exiles something. Next turn, it makes 8 draw discard. Or, I'm sorry, not draw discard, 8 bounce discard. So it's actually pretty powerful card. Alright, this is our first hand where it's a little iffy, but I think we're still good to keep it. Get us started off with the Eater of Virtue. Turn 2, we go for the Adversary. Drawing the land really makes things feel a lot safer. I decided to go for the Adversary because it's a little harder to burn off. Like, have more, like, response spells. Alright, Dread Feud, should they get the Orator or the Vanishing Verse? And the more, yeah, I figured they'd go for the Vanishing Verse. I'm more worried about the removal. Let's see. Let's go for Orator. Equip and attack. Decided to go for Orator because I can play it to the board and it'll still have the same amount of power at the moment as the Nighthawk Scavenger. Alright. But I was thinking about the fact that by equipping this, we end up pushing in more damage in the longer run, even if they hadn't answered. Alright, Raiju for our opponent. Do I care enough to block? No, I think I'll just take it. We will take this race. Oh, and we get the punish against the opponent. Alright. So even if they find the answer to the Scavenger in the air, It's going to be hard for him to block the Dean, more than likely. Yep, there's Royal Eruption. Alright, Ob. We'll take the 2. Send for the face. Don't actually unequip because I want to get the Death Touch for our Valentine. Okay, the 2. Get ourselves a white source here. And we'll equip. This way, if they kill Valentine, we'll be able to equip over here and still get the Menace and Lifelink. Unfortunately, I just remember that. The Tainted Adversary gets exiled because of the Etching's ability, so we don't get the actual imprint. So I did actually ultimately lose out on the damage that I really wanted. Activate. Send for the face. Get rid of the Royal Eruption. Now they have to decide whether they want to kill our Eye Tyrant or the Valentine. If they kill Valentine, we no longer have the ability to exile their cards. Alright. Bonus down to 1. This can't death trigger to deal damage because of how Valentine works. Do we still pay for the tokens? Yeah, we do actually get to pay the 2 for the tokens that die. Alright, send it. I know they can animate that. Alright, we finally get our first creature imprinted. But we'll decline the pay 2. So that we can bring out Scavenger. And we'll equip the Scavenger. That way, if they do have the answer, we get the imprint. Decline. I'm declining the trigger just in case they actually do find a way to destroy our Eater Virtue on the board. Because they gain the 2 life regardless of if we discard. Since there's no creatures on the board, the opponent can't get any life with that. And yep, that's it. We got there. So far, the deck's actually working out really well. Hope you all are enjoying this. I know it's not some crazy combo like some of the decks I make, but to be honest, actually, I would have liked it more. I would have probably made a Explorer deck if we had Odric the Lunarch Marshal. I think I said the correct Odric's name. Because then I would have been able to make the decks that way it's just an attack trigger that all of our creatures get all the abilities, and would have looked a lot more interesting. But sadly, we don't have that Odric. Alright. Yeah, I think this one's keepable. We'll keep it. Go ahead and lead off with the Dean. Red-green for our opponent. Okay. Go ahead and go with our Orator. really looking to draw a land here. Hello, Asika. Ooh, not what we were hoping for. Alright, well, we will go ahead and bring out the adversary. And we'll have some fun. We'll attack in with this. It's going to get Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink for the attack. So if the opponent wants to block it, they'll have to sacrifice both Chariot and Innkeeper here. Or in this case, both cats. A non-token creature opponent controls. I'm sorry, you saw I missed the land drop, right? I'm surprised that was enough to send them packing. But, alright, we get there. I guess some people, once they come across, you know, decks they don't know, they'll just scoop out. Especially once when, you know, they're running creature-focused decks and they come across Death Touchers. Alright, we're in the 95 percentile. Seems keepable. Now, we don't have the ability to hold up a Vanishing Verse for turn 2. Because this will come to play tapped. Alright, red, white, burn. If they bring out the turn 2... what's it called? Oh, red-green, never mind. Werewolves. Well, my play idea doesn't work anymore anyways, for what I was going to be worried about. Bring up Scavenger. Probably would have been better for us to actually go Spellbinder. Been able to check their hand. See, I think you go for blocking, kill etchings. I know that these are lords, so it gives all their creatures +1/+1 if it flips. Not worried about that one. Let's take a look at their hand, see what we're working with. Yeah, we'll tax those partners. Oh, geez, the partners. Let's see, opponent possibly just gets it to go to night because it can't play anything. We like it on day, so we might just... Oh, they do play something. Alright. Yeah, we will take the block because it means that you're not necessarily getting partners down next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess they could have gotten it down this turn if they wanted to anyways. Let's go for Scavenger. Pass it back. So this way, if they want to bring up partners this turn, they have to attack and lose their naturals. They don't want to do that. They have the mana already for next turn. Go on the aggressive end. I'm actually intentionally sacrificing this Valentine if they wanted to block it. Because I was planning on bringing out a double cast here, so exile here. Play the Thalia. We'll sacrifice the Thalia and a block just to protect our face. The Specialist is going to come down, bring back the Thalia. Thalia back to board. We keep aggressing them with these lifelinkers, since they can't block. Well, I mean, they could technically block Scavenger, but they'll have to sacrifice partners in that block. If they hit another one of these play with fires, they could actually block with partners and be able to attack in still. Alright, they're holding on the blocks. Let's see, is it worth us? No, it's not really worth attacking with the land. We'll just poke for 2 in the air. Really would love to be able to get our artifact. Because if we get our equipment, it allows us to put more pressure on the air attacks. And if they do manage to kill the Nighthawk, we can then equip it around to give any of our creatures the flying Death Touch. Alright. Hashing Verse not very useful here, unfortunately. I think actually a lot of their cards are multicolored, so I'm... Alright, they're just gonna skip it. I was gonna say, I think I'll just Vanishing Verse get rid of this, so that way they don't have the ability to get the +1/+1 counter value, but we take the win. Ooh, rare. I actually tried running this card in a red, white, green token deck. It is just not... There's too many token cards that just float around randomly in the format that it's not a consistent enough card to really rely on. Now, if you're doing inside decking, you only need like maybe 2 of these if you're going to do a token deck, but I wouldn't really want to rely on this card. Let's see, how is our deck doing? Where's our... Got a very different hand here. It'll be interesting to see how this one works out. We'll lead with the black source, go for our Virtue. Possibly against mono white. We have lots of Vanishing Verses. We'll just land and pass. Actually, Tainted Adversary seems like a really solid thing put on board here. Alright, we give a block, get rid of one of these Hopeful Initiates. Oh, they have to land the discard? Ooh, they punish us with the Ganjo. Well, in that case, we'll go Brutal Cathar, get a reset on one of these initiates. The triple Vanishing Verse, I think we're pretty safe here with this hand. And just hovering over... Oh, like an inspiring dirty person. Alrighty. So let's see. Go land, equip, pass to the opponent. Moonrage Root is a 5/3 with first strike, so we're pretty safe. Let's go ahead and just get rid of the Thalia. During our turn, we can just double Vanishing Verse, get the flip. But I'm worried that if we do that, if they resolve something that exiles our creature, they just get back theirs. So possibly best not to do that. Alright, go for Scavenger. Pass it back. They destroy my equipment. So rude. Now, I knew that that was likely to happen, but I was not expecting the Intrepid off the top. Alright. Well, let's see here. So we'll go Vanishing Verse, get rid of... Aspirant. Go for Thalia. Pass it back, transform, get rid of the initiative. This way they resolve their own Brutal Cathar or whatnots. We have Vanishing Verse to still deal with that. Alright, we have Thalia against Thalia here. We'll provide the block. Gotta protect our face a little bit. Spellbinder doesn't do a whole lot here, but I'd rather have it on the board than not at this point. Could have argued maybe best not to have played it, so that way we could have had Cathar flip over. And we would have had Vanishing Verse available. We'll trade Thalia with Thalia. Alright. Pass it back to the opponent. Wandering Emperor will give us a great answer for their flying creature. Alright. Scavenger to the board. Counter on Scavenger. Hold off on Vanishing Verse. Punch in the air. Start getting the fight going in our favor. At this point, I think we have the ability to just win this because of Nighthawk Scavenger, Elite Spellbinder, punching in the air. They provide an attack with both those. We can block. Alright, let's see what you have in your hand, opponent. So we know how to play around. Oh, the opponent has a Wandering Emperor of their own. +1 here. Pass it back. I have to pass it back because it can still activate Wandering Emperor for its effects, and I don't want to turn this back to the day. The reason why I don't want to turn it to day is if they play a Cathar of their own, it stays during the night. And yep, we played around the opponent. They have scooped it up. We win. Taking out mono white. Alright, let's see. What does that make for the deck so far? We're actually 8-0 with the deck. Let's see if we can go for a straight 10. The deck actually has like a lot of answers. like a control deck between our small removal options. But we also have a very nice aggressive nature to the deck. So we have like anti-control cards. So I think a lot of cards work out really in an interesting way. I will keep this. Turn 1, Dean. Turn 2, Thalia. Turn 3, Cathar. I say turn 3 Cathar because it looks like we're against red-white aggro. Now they had to play, so... Oh, it's Jeskai. Alright, if that's the case, let's play this as our white source. We'll attack in first. Now, I think our opponent is probably holding up like a Jwari's Disruption, a Saw Coming, something of that nature. So I'm going to go with the Orator first. If this gets to the board, it's really solid for us. Yep, there's the Jwari's Disruption. And I really want to stick to the Thalia, because they're going to want to kill that right away, considering this is Jeskai, shoot, what's the name of that? I always keep screwing up the name of this creature. It's like... It's the legendary one that makes everything cost less if you target multiple things. Or if you're the opponent, it makes it cost more. Alright, we get in for the one with the Valentine. Fun little thing to note is we have 2 legendary creatures on the board, so this only costs us 1 mana to discard. Alright, going for some iteration, expressing themselves. Let's go for playing this as a land. Even though there's nothing on board to exile with this, Brutal Cathar is still not a bad thing to put on the board. This way if the opponent just like passes turn, we get a nice body. I didn't go for the specialist right away because if they actually do snipe off Thalia, it allows us to bring Thalia back to the board. Alright, Fable for our opponent. We'll go for another Cathar. Keep things going against them. I am worried that I am playing myself into like a burn down the house by doing this, but at this point, no more creatures need to go to the board. And opponent's kind of at the board wipe or bust state right now, probably, right? Because they bring out a Goldspan Dragon, I don't really have any issues with that. Yep, you got a Goldspan. We have an Eye Tyrant that will be a finisher here. Go for the attacks. Alright, they're gonna kill Thalia. That's okay. We'll bring Thalia back. Keep the tax on the opponent. Now the question really comes, can the opponent recover from this board state? Okay. There's the Dawn Crown. Alright, so they have to Dragon's Fire. Double checking numbers. Go for a kick removal. If we kick it, it gets countered. We won't get rid of it. All we can do is punch in. So better to go for this. The reason why I say this is better, because depending on the type of counterspell interaction they may have, this is more likely to succeed, and we want the reflections off the board anyways. Alright, so opponent uses Swirling Mists to survive here. Bring this to the board. Yeah, if we had Folly on the board, it would have costed them still the same amount of mana to do that. It's one of the reasons why Swirling Mists with Hinata is so crazy, because this is... Basically, X is free because of how Hinata is worded. Are we dead on our upkeep? That's the question. Or are we dead right now, actually, I really should say. Because this is 4, 8, 12, 16. So they all they have to do is do at least 1 point of damage to our face. And it looks like they have the spell, so we'll give them the nice and the GG's. Does Magma Opus. So, yeah, we're dead. Exacxies. Now, they could have actually put more of that damage to our face, because of how Goldspan Dragon works. But that was just the best that we could do, unfortunately, just came up a turn short. Oh well. That unfortunately ruins the goal for getting 10 in a row, but... Let's see, what were we at there? Let me double check. Yeah, because we went 8-1 now. Let's see one last game. So we don't have a team turn to play, but I'll try keeping this. Got a lot of disruption options. Now the only problem with this hand is that the vertical Thars actually don't really contribute to the Eater of Virtue. Oh, okay, we're getting some hits. And we miss all of our 2-drops. We have so many 2-drops. I'm just gonna commune. Possibly digging for lands then? We're definitely gonna use Vertical Thorn to get Visitor off the board. Maybe that's not a definite anymore. Maybe we just go for a Spellbinder. See what they're working with. Oh, they have double of that. Awesome. Let's keep them away from that showdown then. Here's the confinement. Let's just land pass on the fun little trick I'm going to do against this opponent. Decided to go for that on the land. Now, they might just be looking at our mana and going, oh, they have Wandering Emperor, I won't attack. Yep. But we're just gonna Vanishing Verse. Ah, Michiko. Let's tax this. Another black source here. Brutal Cathar. On the Visitor. Equip here. Now, they have to hit another land, and even if they do to, you know, seal apart Cathar to get back their Visitor, it shouldn't be that painful to us. Okay, so that's only going to be a 3-2. Let's go for another Cathar. I'm just going to get really mad about this. And we're set up so that way, even if they get rid of the Cathar and get back the Visitor. Yep. They're going to have to block with the Visitor to survive. Oh, they take away our Flyer. Well, that's just lethal. Yep. There we go. Feels like we're beating up Naya Runes and just like taking their lunch money. Whack. Alright. So yeah, if you're interested to see the whole deck list, like maybe join late, this is what we were using. So Eater of Skills actually did amazing work, going 9-1 for our little bit here. And we get to see the strength of Nighthawks before they rotate. These things were just so amazing. And it was also great being able to use Thalia and making sure it's stuck to the board thanks to the Extraction Specialist against those control decks. It'll be actually a shame seeing Valentine rotate just because as a 1-drop, it works so well in our deck. Because being a 1/1 Menace Lifelinker that you equip with this makes it so it's hard for the person who wants to block it. And the creatures being exiled was actually very visibly noticeable as an issue for some decks. And I have to say, this worked out really well. Now, I'm honestly not sure what I could really do to improve upon this deck because it actually worked so well, like 9-1, that's just amazing. The little bit of spot removal we have in just the 2 Bloodchief Thirst and the 3 Vanishing Verses felt really well. And since we have Death Touch on a fair number of our creatures, it makes it hard for our opponents really to be able to use creatures in a way to aggress against us. And even though we never did it, we actually did have a small little thing about the Tainted Adversary that was actually really useful. One thing that we do is after this is put into our graveyard, and we bring it back to the Extraction Specialist, we can still get that pseudo kick ability out of this, because when it enters the battlefield as the trigger, he'll pay the 3 to be able to use any of those extra tokens. But even the one time that we played this and we did the pseudo kick, it was still a really cool thing, but we're primarily playing this as that 2/3 Death Toucher, and it put in a lot of work that way. It was also great being able to see Henrika show a strong performance, and of course Wandering Emperor did its job as well. So, I mean, if you want to play a deck that before it rotates, this is very solid. After rotation, the only cards we're actually losing that would be an issue would be the Thunderous Orator and Valentine. I mean, losing Spellbinder is not really good for us, but we actually do have a new card that's coming out that can kind of fit the Spellbinder role already. So I don't feel like we're losing really much when the Spellbinder falls out. But otherwise, yeah, this deck actually... Oh yeah, and technically we're also losing Vanishing Verse, but there's a lot of other removal options we can bring in. So I don't feel like that's too much of an issue. But it was a fun deck, and I definitely think that within the week that you have left, it's a fun deck that you can enjoy. Alright. Actually, that's one of those things about the new cards that are coming out. I'm not sure if anyone actually paid attention to it. It's a little awkward based off the land set rotation that's coming out from the set. Because if you're not aware of it, we're getting the Pain lands back. And so that means we're going to get, like, our Carpulson forests and such. But now here's the weird thing. I'm going to go ahead and show this as a browser capture here. So these are the new lands that are going to be coming out that are going to help us fix our mana base, supposedly. Now here's the thing: we'll actually get almost like we get like white-black here for a land, and we also get Case of Colors. We also get Shivan Reef, red-blue. So we actually get, you know, some fairly, you know, strong color combos. But here's the weird thing: these are considered opposite colors, opposite colors, opposite colors. These are considered allied colors. Why did we end up with a half allied, half opposite, like opposing colors, instead of getting like where we normally do, where it's like all allied and then all opposing? So it's just kind of a weird mix that they decided to do with this. I'm not completely objected to this. I just thought it was an interesting and weird thing they decided to do. Now it does mean that it's like because of maybe like how certain cards with like kicker work. There's a lot of them that are like red, blue, green, like favored, but there's also like some that are like black, green favored, and it's like we don't have the black, green color combo, and it's a little weird thinking like which ones they decide to go with, because when I was looking at like trying to build deck ideas, there's cards that's like, oh, we don't have like the black, blue one, which is a shame because I was really hoping to build a deck around Children when it came out, and one of the best cards, let me find it, right here. This is one of the new uncommon cards that I think a lot of people are going to craft and use, because it's pay 1 blue, return a creature or planeswalker you don't control to its owner's hand, so you don't get to protect your own creature. But if you kick this, you may choose to put that permanent on the bottom of their library, so it's better than destroy because you don't put it in their graveyard, and you tuck it to the bottom of their deck, so they do have a way to get back to it. It's going to be they have to like shuffle their deck a lot. So I think this is going to be a very strong staple card, but the thing is we don't get a black-blue paint land to help play with this. So we're going to have to wait a whole nother set to come out, probably before we see the other pain lands to come in to help complete the set, before we'll get the land support that we're really looking for. But this is definitely a card I'm going to be looking forward to, because I was thinking a black-blue control deck where you use this as your win condition, where you can just control the opponent out until, you know, the opponent just loses the game because they just drew too many cards. And there's other cards that are in the format that allow you to either choose to draw yourself and then lose some life. But with... Oh, I just realized it's browser capturing the wrong window. I do apologize. I'm talking about a whole bunch of cards that you can't see because my browser capture is set up wrong. I do apologize. Now I can properly rant. I do apologize about that. But it's nice. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of an issue that we don't have the mana fixing as strong as we will once when sets rotate, because we do lose a lot of the faster land options that we had in the form of the choose a side type cards. Of you either get the like blue source or you get the black source. So all those cards are going to be rotating out, and it's going to be a shame to see those go. But without the blue-black source, we could technically run Thran Portal. The problem with Thran Portal is, so it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands, and then you get to choose a land type, and it enters the battlefield as that type. So, but it taps mana abilities of Thran Portal cost initial 1 to activate. Anytime you tap this to try to produce your black source, for example, because you chose Swamp, it's going to keep doing damage. So it's going to be an issue because of that. And the other thing about Thran Portal is basically it's like a bad City of Brass is really what it is. Because even if you were to say give the land ability to tap to something else to produce mana, like you used a trying to get a chromatic lantern. You have a chromatic lantern on the board. If you were to still tap the Thran Portal to try to produce mana, even though it's not necessarily like the Swamp, you're trying to produce like the green source out of it or something, you'll still take a point damage because you used it for a mana build. So it's kind of like City of Brass in comparison, because whenever City of Brass becomes tapped, you take a point damage. And this is a card that locks itself purely to a color. So that's why I say it's a bit worse than the City of Brass. Now, positive note to it, compared to City, is that it will count as that land type. So if you are using cards that actually care about like what type of land types you have in play, it will help you with that bonus. The other thing that's useful about this card, it is a gate, so it has useful support synergies with other cards, because gate decks. But I'm honestly like thinking that it's like outside of gate decks, I'm not really sure what you play this in. It's kind of a really awkward card, and even in gate deck, it's super awkward because most of all the gates come into play tapped, and this coming into play untapped in the first couple turns is less useful than if it came into play untapped in the later turns. Because then you'd be able to go, okay, like if it was turn 3, play it, it comes into play untapped. You could play a lot of spell options that save you. I guess it does say 2 or fewer other lands, so I guess turn 3 it still counts. Turn 4 it won't. But you understand what I'm trying to say on this, I hope. But there's other cards that are like, since they put such a heavy influence on the idea of all these new cards that are coming into play, as you can see that we have tons of multicolored cards, but we don't have the, like we came with all these double white and a black, double black and a green. We don't have necessarily all the proper color support lands for them. It's going to be hard to see some of them see play, but there are a ton of cards that I think are going to be interesting to see how well they work. And I'm really excited for them to hopefully after the draft we can get some of these powerful cards. Once we meet the skill events, we'll be able to build some fun deck ideas. I definitely see Children as just being this bomb that is going to be a card that we'll probably see people make control decks around. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and call it here for the night. Thank you everyone for joining. Also, thank you again for Izzy, with sharing your fun deck ideas. I hope you're still here. Always interested to see what you come up with. And also, Lady Peridabo, thanks for joining us for your stream. I'm not sure if you're still here or not, but I don't think you are. User in the chat thing doesn't really update very consistently. Like, I'm still here, who isn't? But I wish you all have a nice night, and we'll see you next time. We should have some new deck ideas to show off tomorrow. And we'll be hopefully if there is a event for Friday, that we're able to participate online with. I'll try to see if I can do that. But I will also, small heads up, I'm going to be looking after families' pets again this weekend. So, starting Thursday is when I'm going to be doing that. So I might have a little bit more of a late issue on Thursday. And also on Sunday might have some maybe some possible issues being online. But those are maybes. We'll see how they work in the future, and I'll try to keep everyone up to date. Oh, well, take care, everyone. I'll hopefully see you next time, and have a nice night.